From Genesis to Revelation, the number 7 speaks of God's perfect plan. The number 7 appears again and again in Scripture, and each time it carries a weight of meaning that points to God's completeness and perfection. From the very beginning, the story of creation is shaped by 7, as God made the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and rested on the 7th, blessing it as holy. That first week set a pattern for all humanity, showing that 7 marks the rhythm of work and rest, the balance of life designed by the Creator. Throughout the Old Testament, 7 continues to appear as a symbol of covenant and completion. When Noah entered the ark, animals were brought in by 7s, and rain fell for 40 days, a number itself tied to 7. Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and Israel marched around Jericho for 7 days, with 7 priests blowing 7 trumpets before the walls fell, a story that showed God's power tied to the divine rhythm of 7. The law of Moses also carried the pattern, commanding a Sabbath every 7th day, a Sabbath year every 7th year, and a jubilee after 7 cycles of 7 years, when liberty and restoration were proclaimed across the land. In each case, 7 marked a completion of time, a fullness when God's blessings were poured out and His people were reminded of His faithfulness. In the prophetic writings, 7 shines as a number of divine fullness. The book of Daniel speaks of 70 weeks, pointing to God's appointed times, while Zechariah describes the 7 eyes of the Lord, symbols of His perfect vision. And in Revelation, the number 7 dominates the vision of the end. 7 churches, 7 spirits, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, and 7 bowls of judgment, each unfolding in sequence until God's plan is brought to its perfect conclusion. To John, this flood of 7s was no accident, but a divine reminder that history is under God's control and that His work will be completed in perfection. The number 7 is also a symbol of oath and covenant. In Hebrew, the word to swear an oath is tied to the word for 7, showing that promises sealed with 7 carried the weight of completeness and truth. When Abraham and Abimelech made a covenant at Beersheba, it was sealed with 7 lambs, linking the number to God's promises and faithfulness. From creation to covenant, from prophecy to fulfillment, the number 7 testifies that God's plan is not partial but complete. 7 in Scripture is more than a number. It is the mark of God's perfection.